Tim, welcome to Watch You Want, and thanks for logging on. Today we're looking at the Panerai Radiomir 8 Days PAM 198, 45 millimeters in polished platinum. You can see this Radiomir 8 Days Platinum on our website, watchyouwant.com, and if you enjoy these videos, please subscribe to our YouTube channel, Watch You Want Inc. This is a living legend, one of only 50 units built for the 2004 or G Series model year. The PAM 198 is a white whale. It's a unicorn to many collectors. One of the most elegant, desirable, rarest, and most horologically interesting Panerai limited editions ever. The 198 is the sibling to the gold 197, the steel 190, and the rarely seen hobnail dial 208. What distinguishes this 45mm platinum 8-day is the JLC movement inside. I'll get to that in a moment, but before the movement, let's talk about the fit and the feel. On my wrist, 6 1/3 inches, 16 centimeters in circumference, I can really feel the heft of this watch. It has incredible mass. Now, it is a cushion case, so 45 millimeters, pretty much as high as it is wide, pretty much describes the feel on the wrist. It's almost lugless, with this vintage-style wire lug being the only projection beyond the squat form of the classic Radiomir case. Now, the strap is of exceptional quality. Panerai will generally use a untreated calfskin when it does use leather in historic combat diver fashion, or it'll use a rubber strap. So to see a monotone stitched, bolstered black alligator leather with square scale, very impressive, very elegant, and it really befits the upscale image of this watch with its tobacco dial and its rose gold hands. Now you'll see a matching pin buckle echoing the wire form of the lugs. You can see that same wire form. It's not the massive trapezoid of the more sports-oriented Panerai, Radiomir, and Luminor references. This one is beautifully consonant with the lugs and crafted from 18-karat white gold. Why white gold? Because of the spare wire style of the pin buckle, harder white gold was used rather than platinum, which, believe it or not, in 950 purity or 95%, is softer than 18-karat white gold. So white gold is tough enough to be this thin, fine, and yet durable in the form that Panerai wanted to achieve with the buckle itself to match the lugs. Now you'll see the case is classically Panerai Radiomir. In the image of the historic 3646 combat dive watch of the 30s and 40s, the look is classic, and because platinum is a subtle metal, one that really only shows its brilliance and its luster in person, from an arm's length, it doesn't really differentiate itself from steel. So you get the immense heft and satisfaction of that platinum watch on your wrist without advertising the fact that you're wearing a watch with an original retail over $50,000. I love the satisfaction, the sort of cerebral satisfaction of wearing this thing without necessarily boasting or advertising. In my opinion, the only guys who are going to strike up a conversation regarding this watch are true connoisseurs who really know their stuff, and for me, that's the best kind of recognition. You can actually have a discussion about the watch. Now, moving inboard to the dial, you do see that Panerai gives up its game a bit. Platinum, there it is, but small enough letters that it doesn't read for more than an arm's length. The discretion of this piece, the refinement, is extraordinary. Now you can see that the dial, I don't know how well it plays on the camera, but it does have a sandwich structure with the stencil of the indices and Arabic numerals on top of a fully loomed disc. Now this is the classic Panerai way of doing things. By the G series they were luminova, so this one has not lost any of its luminescence or its 3D glow-through effect at night. The dial itself features a sort of tobacco brown, and that's the glorious thing about it, because it wonderfully complements the gilt style sort of gold printing of the graphics Radiomir Panerai Platinum 8 Days, as well as the rose gold hands for the hours, minutes, and seconds. This is elegance incarnate, and with a classic onion crown, it is a screw down. This is a sports watch. Put it on a rubber strap, and with 100-meter water resistance, you can still take this one in the pool. Now, you wouldn't want to knock any precious metal watch, but the nice thing is platinum, because it is so ductile, can actually be refinished without losing material, unlike gold or steel, for instance, because rather than sanding it down to the base of the scratch, you simply remove the partition by flattening it out, leaving the material intact, and that's one of the real benefits of platinum. Over the years, even if you wear it regularly, even if you wear it with enthusiasm, it can be restored without losing metal. It's one of the great unadvertised advantages of platinum. Now you can see the main event. This is what Panerai calls the caliber OP14. Now back in 2004, JLC itself had only recently unveiled its new 8-day movement, and by new I mean it hadn't built an old one since the first half of the 20th century. And after the 70th anniversary Reverso, which ironically came out in 2002, not 2001, JLC began disseminating the 8-day movement throughout the line. Now this caliber OP14 Panerai ups its game in some respects, whereas the JLC 877 on which it's based featured 25 jewels, this one's replaced almost all of the JLC bushings with jewels, pivots, sapphires that are actually ruby colored. That's what ruby is. It's a colored piece of corundum, much like the sapphire crystal itself. So those have replaced the bushings that JLC used, to the effect of 33 jewels to JLC's 25. Panerai also moved the power reserve indicator from JLC's dial display to a case back display, which you can see right here. For me, that's ideal because you get the complication. So from a watchmaking standpoint, I really find that appealing. It's a complication, it's cool, and it makes sense of an 8-day power reserve, because after all, we don't all keep track of every watch in our collection. If we know we have a watch that we only need to wind once per week, part of the luxury of only having to wind it once per week is lost if you don't know where it is in its state of wind. So you have that practicality, but it doesn't spoil the classic visage of the Panerai sandwich dial. 3 hands, time only here, complication on the back. Now, even better, JLC has a unique winding system by which a system of step-up gearing allows you to fully energize the power reserve in only about 50 turns. So, for reference, a Blancpain 50 Fathoms with a caliber 1315 and a 120-hour power reserve, that's all of 5 days, takes 108 turns to fully energize. Here, you're getting 8 days, and you can energize it with only 50 turns. So quality time spent with your watch, not endless time. Now, the movement itself features unique finishing that Panerai specified. Finished by JLC for Panerai, you can see the linear Côte de Genève. You can also see that there is a tight and even pattern of perlage below the balance cock, and because there is a large parting in this almost pocket watch style series of massive sort of pseudo 3/4 bridging, it's easy to see the perlage pattern on the base plate. There's enough of a channel that you can discern it distinctly. Now, there is graining on what wheels you can see, and beautiful blued screws, not the chemically blued screws that have the exposed metallic cut within their slot. This is the real thing. JLC heat oxidizes its screws to create that rich, deep cobalt color that's all over the screw head, its flanks, and its slot. Now, you can see a gorgeous classical swan's neck regulator for fine adjustments, and it does have a modern 4 Hz rate. So although it is an 8-day movement, and you often see manufacturers stepping down the beat rate, compromising accuracy somewhat for the sake of long endurance, this watch features both 8-day power reserve and a modern 28,800 vibration per hour rate for accuracy and endurance. This is high horology in a watch that can only be called an exquisite example of modern craftsmanship. So you get it all. You get the art of case manufacture and finishing in platinum, no less, and you get JLC inside. It's really like a Ferrari with a Ferrari engine. Now, you can see this PAM 198 Radiomir 8 Days in platinum, one of only 50 made on our website, watchyouwant.com, and if you like, you can take home one of only 50 in the world. This is the first one I've ever seen. I see a lot of watches here, and I've been privileged to experience some of the best. But I have to say, as a JLC diehard and a man sort of steeped in Panerai history, given the Watch You Want connections, this is a memorable occasion. It's a rarity. I don't believe we've ever had one of these, and I'm not sure when we'll ever have another. So check out our website, watchyouwant.com, see the high-resolution images of this PAM 198 Radiomir 8 Days.